Hello and welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Adam Cellini. Topping our news this evening, a bizarre incident happening at a Sarasota beach. Several dolphins getting stranded and one actually dying. Mote Marine Laboratory, Sarasota Dolphin Research, and the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission responding to the mass beaching of Fraser dolphins. Mote officials telling ABC7 that this is uncommon for that type of dolphin to be found on the Sun Coast. One dolphin was transported back to Mote Marine for treatment. However, it soon became apparent that it would not make it, and that dolphin had to be euthanized. The refs were able to make it back out to the Gulf, but Mote officials say it is not uncommon for dolphins to become stranded again. If you do see a stranded dolphin, whale, manatee, or sea turtle, you are advised to call the Stranding Investigations Program's 24-hour call service at this number listed on your screen. Mote advises no one push stranded creatures back out into the water. First, allow experts to check them for injury or sickness. Over in Bradenton, 4 people are recovering tonight after a fire broke out at a home. Firefighters and emergency personnel responding to the blaze around 5 a.m. this morning. When they arrived, crews found black smoke coming from the roof and fire venting through a front window. The home suffered heavy fire damage to the interior and attic space, an estimation of $50,000 total in damage. The cause of that fire is being investigated by the state fire marshal's office. Well, healthcare has been making headlines in Washington, but several kids were just in Washington, D.C. to advocate for one disease which affects more than 1 million Americans. ABC7's Erica Jackson introduces us to a teen who took his fight straight to the Capitol.
Dozens of kids and teens are returning from Washington after lobbying for more type 1 diabetes research. One of them is from here in Sarasota, and he wants Congress to continue to support funding to help find a cure.
In between jam sessions, 15-year-old Reed Spahn takes a quick break to check his blood sugar readings. That's because he has type 1 diabetes and his body can't break down glucose due to an inactive pancreas.
It really destroys all the organs in the body if they have those high blood sugars running all the time.
His meter reads 247 because he just ate lunch.
And I believe the insulin pump and the CGM have made my numbers much more manageable.
But Reed only needs to prick his finger about 3 times a day because his continuous glucose monitoring system, or CGM, takes blood sugar readings every 5 minutes while attached to his body.
With the CGM, I can see my numbers constantly, helps with overnight care.
It takes a blood glucose reading every 5 minutes and transmits it to his phone and our phones as well so that we can see what his blood sugar is.
Reed and his mother Stacy say the latest technology was developed thanks to the Special Diabetes Program, a federal measure providing $150 million per year for type 1 diabetes research. The goal is to help find better treatment, therapies, and eventually a cure.
Even though we've got all this great new technology, there are still really scary, real health risks that are involved with type 1 diabetes.
Reed and others living with diabetes spent 3 days in the U.S. Capitol, asking Congress to renew the program instead of letting it expire later this year.
Spreading awareness for type 1 is extremely important because then it informs people about how difficult it really is and how much we really need to increase funding for research for a cure.
The Special Diabetes Program is set to expire on September 30th if Congress does not renew that research program. Reporting in Sarasota, Erica Jackson, ABC7, your Suncoast News.
Thank you very much, Erica. And we are now joined in studio by Reed Spahn and mother Stacy here. Thanks for joining us, Sarasota alums here. And you were just in Washington, Reed. And I want to start, we touched on your trip a little bit, but tell us about the experience of actually going to the state's, or our nation's capital, rather.
Yes, the experience was outstanding. I mean, being around all the other delegates who were there, 165 to be exact, that all had type 1 and that we're all unified for the same cause to increase funding and funding for a cure was a really, really cool thing to see there.
And did you get to actually address some of our politicians?
Yes, I did get to address some of our politicians. I got to address Congressman Vern Buchanan. I met with the staff of Senator Rubio and Senator Bill Nelson, and it was cool to kind of talk to them and be able to share some of our stories with them and kind of advocate some for JDRF.
And what was the message that you wanted them to kind of understand, from you personally?
Well, from me personally, the message that I was trying to convey to all of our congressmen up in D.C. was that funding for a cure and for new technologies for type 1 diabetics is extremely important, and the renewal of the SDP in this case was extremely important as well, as it provides $150 million from the NIH towards diabetes funding.
Now, Stacy, this program doesn't help you guys pay for that technology at all. It's still covered partially by your insurance, but very expensive month to month for you as well. So why is it important to you to continue the program?
Well, SPD is very important for the research that's going into funding new technologies and for a cure, but it doesn't help solve the healthcare crisis. Obviously, there are still out-of-pocket expenses. Even with insurance, we're paying about $400 a month out of pocket in expenses. So we wanted to be sure, too, that our members of Congress understood that we need protections for these pre-existing conditions. All these children are pre-existing conditions, and we wanted to be sure that in healthcare reform, those pre-existing conditions are protected.
Absolutely. And any aspirations to be a politician here in the report?
Not right now, no.
If Rockstar doesn't work out, maybe, I guess
work out,
we'll have to see.
Yes.
Well, Stacy and Reed, thanks very much for joining us, and thank you for everything you're doing for this disease and this cause. And you know, our thoughts and prayers are with you moving forward.
Thank you.
No problem. Well, now we are going to head over to Wendy Ross for a check on our weather today. And Wendy, just another hot summer day out there.
Oh my goodness, it was so hot and very, very summery. And we're taking a look right now at Titan radar, and you can see some of these showers that were right around the St. Armand Circle area have now started to move off towards the east. They're beginning to affect parts of eastern Sarasota County and eastern Manatee County as well. And others are just coming onshore around the Venice area. We've been watching the showers, sort of very spotty around the region today, and we didn't get a whole lot in the way of rainfall, but we're starting to see these making their way on towards the east. And so the heaviest showers right now have been mostly in this area, moving on in, and now they're moving on towards the east for us. So we're going to continue to see the rains moving eastward, and we're going to be left with partly cloudy skies for most of this evening with some showers back in the forecast as well. But we've got some big changes coming up for the overnight time period and into the morning hours. We'll tell you what that's all about in just a few minutes. Adam?
All right, thank you very much, Wendy. Outrage caused by the video of a shark being dragged behind a speeding boat may soon mean changes to our state's fishing laws. Florida Governor Rick Scott issuing a letter Friday to the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission saying he wants to make sure such acts are strictly prohibited. The FWC has received numerous photos and videos this week of alleged wildlife abuse, including a video of men pouring beer into a hammerhead shark's mouth and gills. The agency's law enforcement division is investigating all complaints, but no charges have yet been announced. 3 drivers have been injured following a 3-car crash at the intersection of University Parkway and Lockwood Ridge Road in Sarasota. Troopers say a driver ran a red light and collided into another vehicle. That vehicle then ricocheting into a third. The drivers of the cars involved in the initial collision both sustained serious injuries and were transported to Sarasota Memorial Hospital. That third driver sustained minor injuries, and a charge for failure to stop at a red light has been issued. Following this week's defeat of the Obamacare repeal effort in the Senate, President Trump looking to right the ship in the Oval Office and hit the reset button on his administration. ABC's Mona Rivera has more.
President Donald Trump taking to Twitter this morning, rallying for change against the Senate filibuster rule. That rule, known as cloture, requires 60 lawmakers to agree to end debate and move forward on legislation. This past week on health care, they used a process called reconciliation, requiring a simple 51-vote majority. The president is still reeling from the failure of the Obamacare repeal vote, which Senator John McCain narrowly defeated with a thumbs down. Trump also replacing Chief of Staff Reince Priebus with the current Homeland Security Secretary John Kelly, a 4-star general. Priebus spent just 6 months on the job before he became the target of new communications director Anthony Scaramucci. Friday night, Priebus told Sean Hannity of Fox News, change can be a good thing.
I think actually going a different direction, hitting a reset button is a good thing. And the president did that. And so I think he's happy. I got to tell you, although it's always a little mixed when things like this happen, I generally feel pretty good.
However, some senior White House aides are calling for even more shakeups.
It is not Republicans. These are not people who have been in the party, have been working in the vineyards for years, have helped elect the people who are in Congress.
ABC News has learned that some aides are encouraging the president to move embattled Attorney General Jeff Sessions to the now vacant top spot at the Department of Homeland Security. Such a move would allow Trump to bring in a new Attorney General who would also oversee the Russia investigation. Mona Rivera, ABC News, New York.
Well, still to come here on ABC 7, the investigation into what caused a thrill ride in Ohio to malfunction continues as more victims speak out about the incident that took the life of a teenager. And a deadly lightning strike in Florida, how Good Samaritans worked to try and help that victim.
40 million. That's the number of free phones still available and the number of how many Americans can still get prescriptions free.
Free could be wonderful.
That's why I'm still working at 77 years old to pay off my prescriptions.
I needed to have a prescription filled and I had to leave because I couldn't afford it.
Call now and see what's available for you. Free prescriptions. Over 10 million people get prescriptions free, and the program has expanded so another 40 million can. Free dental. Over 15,000 dentists have provided over $330 million in free dental work. Free cell phones. 40 million free cell phones are still available with free minutes and more.
Free cell phone would change my life right now because it is something I cannot afford to get.
Medical supplies like back braces, knee braces, and diabetic supplies may be covered too. The free RX Plus hotline has saved callers over $12 million on their prescription costs. These free programs are now available to 40 million more people. Call now.
This is important news for women who were administered chemotherapy intravenously for breast cancer and then suffered permanent hair loss. The chemotherapy drug Taxotere has been linked to permanent alopecia or permanent hair loss. Some women administered the breast cancer chemotherapy drug Taxotere have suffered from permanent hair loss on scalp, eyebrows, and eyelashes. The FDA has urged doctors and the manufacturer to warn women administered Taxotere of the risk of permanent hair loss. If you or a loved one were administered chemotherapy intravenously for breast cancer and suffered permanent hair loss, you may have a right to a cash award and medical expenses. If you suffered permanent hair loss after chemotherapy for breast cancer, call the law offices of Davis & Crump at the number below right now to find out if you are eligible for a cash award and medical expenses. Call the law offices of Davis & Crump right now. Our first consultation is free, and we don't get paid unless you get paid. Call now. Operators are standing by.
ABC 7, My Suncoast News. We're here for you. Watch My Suncoast News wherever you are, on our live stream, on our newly redesigned MySuncoast.com, and a brand new ABC 7 My Suncoast app, powered by the Eye Associates, providing Sight for Life, featuring traffic maps and live radar, and dining with recipes and all the hottest Suncoast restaurants. Visit MySuncoast.com and click on the mobile tab to download the ABC 7 My Suncoast app for iOS and Android.
Welcome back. We are learning new details about the tragic ride on Wednesday at the Ohio State Fair that claimed the life of an 18-year-old. The warning sign that witnesses say tipped them off that something wasn't right. ABC's Dave Packer has more.
Blunt force trauma. That's the coroner's preliminary finding about what killed Tyler Jarrell after he was tossed about 50 feet from the Fireball ride after it broke apart in midair. The Columbus, Ohio native who had enlisted in the Marines the week before died at the scene. His family has hired an attorney to pursue a possible wrongful death lawsuit. 7 others recovering from their injuries between the ages of 14 to 42. Abdi Hakim Hussein and Anna Saleh were also on the ride. While strapped into their seats, they noticed something seemed wrong.
The ride started, we were having a good time. I saw the floor raising up.
The floor of the car coming unhinged.
I was kind of shocked because the ride was still going. And I'm thinking that it's going to be us next, like this is going to break off.
The 19-year-old fracturing the back of his neck. Doctors say he'll need surgery.
I really don't know that I'm in pain yet. until the ride actually stops.
The two are counting their blessings. They were originally seated on the part of the ride that broke off.
That was our seats at first. If we never would have got switched it, that would have been us.
The ride's manufacturer ordered all Fireball rides shut down after the accident, but some rides at the Ohio State Fair have since reopened after they were inspected by state officials.
The fact that they are running some rides over there, I just think that is crazy.
As investigators continue to comb the wreckage for clues about what caused Wednesday's deadly disaster. Dave Packer, ABC News, New York.
One person has died and after two men were struck by lightning at a Florida beach. The men were hit Friday afternoon just north of Satellite Beach. One of the victims suffering cardiac arrest. A witness gave him CPR until paramedics arrived. However, the man was later pronounced dead at a nearby hospital.
You just want to help, and it really sucks because, you know, I wanted him to come out. I wanted him to wake up. A mark where the lightning hit him, and an exit wound, an entry and an exit wound hit him, and it obviously stopped his heart.
Now officials say the second man is in stable condition and neither of those two men were from the area. And yeah, sometimes you think that lightning is off in the distance, but whenever you see it, don't just run for cover. You have to run really to get indoors, right, Wendy?
No, you really do. And you don't want to be under trees. You don't want to be in a flimsy building. You really need to find a place that's sturdy. And we're going to have plenty of opportunity tomorrow because we are expecting to see some showers and thunderstorms moving on into the area. Today was kind of quiet. You know, we had long periods of no rain. We had a little bit of early morning showers, and then the afternoon hours were pretty much rain-free, and now we're starting to see more showers back on in. But it was hot. It was hot. It felt hot everywhere. This is the heat index that we experienced for today, and you can see that those temperatures felt as though they were well up in the 90s, and this is happening right now. So some places actually felt as though they were 100 degrees. Take a look at the Sun Coast. We're looking at 95 is what it feels like right now, right here along the Sun Coast, and these are the actual feels like temperatures at this hour. And look, all of us are experiencing this well into the 100-degree mark. That's what it feels like. That's the combination of heat and humidity, and this is what gives us that feels like temperature. Now, we've had recent rains right here across the, very close to the airport, so 95 degrees is what it feels like right now at the airport. The actual daytime high today, though, was much cooler, 92. 84 was the overnight low, and at this hour, we are looking at a temperature reading of 86 degrees, and we are going to be experiencing some showers moving on towards the east. That's what's taking place at this time. 70% humidity. The winds are coming in right off the Gulf at around 12 miles per hour. So they're pushing everything on towards the east. So you can see it's not a whole lot of rainfall, but it is concentrated in areas. So across eastern Sarasota County, moving into eastern Manatee County, well east of I-75. And we're not seeing a whole lot right now around the Port Charlotte area. Those have all moved off towards the east in Charlotte County, but all of this wet weather will continue to move on towards the east. And we don't have anything really coming on too much at us along the Gulf Coast right now. Some showers in Venice also have continued to move off towards the east. So that's what's happening at this point. Things are fairly quiet. If you have out and about plans for tonight, you should be able to then enjoy them, really, without too much of a problem. However, for the next couple of days, we're going to continue to see more wet weather coming on through. And so tomorrow, our rain chances go way up to a 60 to 70% chance. We've got a cold front to the north starting to come on in. We've got all this tropical moisture that is going to be abundant coming on through. So we're going to be getting rain showers in the morning, the possibility of thunderstorms as well, and then also later on in the afternoon we'll get those showers and thunderstorms. So it's going to be an all-day event. We've got an area of disturbed weather just off the coast of Africa. You can see to the west of the Cape Verde Islands. It's moving towards the west, and we've got a 48-hour chance over the next 48-hour period, only a 0% chance, but in the next 5 days, we could see a 20% chance of development. And if you're heading to the beach tomorrow, not your best plan because it is going to be raining. We're expecting rain and thunderstorms just about all day. That's what we can expect. And for the rest of this week as well, we're looking at a 70% chance of rain all the way through Tuesday with a 60% chance on Wednesday. Adam?
Now, sports.
The Rays came into Saturday's game against the AL East leading Yankees 3.5 games behind New York. The Rays 0-2 against the Yankees since the All-Star break. 8th inning, Lucas Duda picked up from the New York Mets earlier this week. Second game as a Rays second home run, a massive shot, ties the game at 4 in the 8th, but Brad Boxberger loads the bases in the 9th, and Dan Jennings gives up that single to Brett Gardner. It is the 6th straight win for the Yankees and 3rd straight loss for the Rays. Here was Duda on his optimism about Tampa Bay's playoff chances.
I know where they are in the standings. It seems like we have a good shot to, maybe take the division. So it's going to be a fun, next couple of months.
Duda is sporting a 500 batting average through his first 2 games with Tampa Bay with 2 walks, 2 home runs, and 3 RBIs, but he still has not won a game in a Rays uniform. Major League Baseball will be adding 5 more members to the Hall of Fame Sunday, including longtime Braves GM John Schierholtz. Schierholtz able to steer Atlanta to 5 World Series appearances from 1990 to 2007 when he switched to the role of team president, but we've seen him several times here on the Suncoast as the Braves vice chairman, helping negotiate that spring training deal in Northport. He will be joining Jeff Bagwell, Ivan Rodriguez, and former Commissioner Bud Selig, along with outfielder Tim Raines. A Booker High School senior will be representing the Suncoast and the country in London later this year. Alexis Lewis earned a spot on the Universal Cheerleaders Association All-American squad after attending a cheer camp at the University of South Florida. The UCA All-American squad will be marching in London's New Year's parade later this year.
I was nervous to even try out. I was asking my coach, I was like, I don't know. I was like, what if I don't make it and stuff like that. And then they called my name.
Alexis has a GoFundMe account set up right now to try and raise money for that trip overseas, which will cost around $3,000. Check out this shot from the 3rd round of the Porsche European Open in Hamburg, Germany. 17th hole, a local favorite, Marcel Siem dunks it. That's an ace, and he's able to win a brand new Porsche, the tournament's namesake. Siem will be leaving Green Eagle Golf Club in style. More to come here on ABC 7. Stay with us.
Are you getting the most out of your Medicare plan? Are you sure? Many people with Medicare are eligible for plans that include extra benefits in addition to those found in original Medicare. Benefits like dental, vision, and prescription drug coverage. Call now to see if you're eligible to enroll. The consultation is free with no obligation to enroll. In addition to hospital and medical coverage, at no extra cost, you could also get coverage for prescription drugs, dental, hearing, vision, and more. In many areas, plans with benefits are available with $0 copays for many services, $0 monthly premiums, or $0 deductibles. That's hospital, medical, prescription drug, dental coverage, and more included in one plan with premiums that may be as low as $0 a month. Call now to see if you're eligible to enroll. The consultation is free and there's no obligation to enroll.
Call 1-800-620-2254. That's 1-800-620-2254.
Because my parents told me I have to be responsible.
Because my first coach told me, you can do this.
Because my boss showed me how to do a good job.
Because my teacher helped me see the choices.
I'm swimming faster than I ever dreamed.
I am a valuable employee.
I discovered that I could work as an artist.
I will be whatever I want to be.
Youth with disabilities should grow up expecting to work and succeed. For more information, visit whatcanyoudocampaign.org.
For the last 18 years, Samantha's Friends has been assisting people along the Suncoast who have been challenged by catastrophic illnesses or affected by autism obtain a service canine. We need your help. Please show your support by attending our annual Celebrity Gala brunch and fundraiser. Call Sammy Lee at 941-448-8558 for more information.
WWSB ABC 7 is an equal opportunity employer, and we're looking for qualified people to join our dynamic team. For a list of current openings and to apply online, visit www.mysuncoast.com/contact/employment. If you're a motivated team player and you want a rewarding career in a fun, fast-paced working environment, WWSB ABC 7 could be the perfect fit for you. Check out our list of openings now. Monday at 5 on ABC7's Good Morning Suncoast.
Hello, I'm Jacqueline Matter.
And I'm Ray Collins. Monday's Buccaneers practice will feature local military in the stands.
We'll tell you more about this unique opportunity for invited service members Monday on Good Morning Suncoast. John?
We're watching increasing rain chances for the entire work week. We'll talk about how much rain we think we're going to get bright and early.
Monday at 5 on ABC7's Good Morning Suncoast. We're here for you. The official Suncoast Storm team at ABC7. We're here for you.
This summer's hair-raising circus Incredibello at the historic Oslo Theater has wrapped up its unique comedy acts and jaw-dropping daredevil stunts. The show's last performance beginning at 5 o'clock tonight, but it isn't the last you'll see of the comedic daredevil Bello. He is advancing on the hit show America's Got Talent. You can check him out on the show, which airs Tuesdays at 8 on NBC. The Columbus Zoo, we'll just look at the video. The newest addition to the Columbus Zoo, Asian small-clawed otter pup Triton, making his public debut. The 2-month-old exploring that new habitat with his parents. He's a strong swimmer, but zoo staff says he is getting diving lessons from Mom, who encourages him to try new things. Look at him, look at her nudging him along there.
Oh, how fun.
So you've decided to go to college. That's cool. So pop quiz. Which is a better way to earn your degree? Commute to college and fill your gas tank, get stuck in traffic, drive in bad weather, try to find a parking space, walk a half-mile to class, or learn online at Independence University. You don't go to college. College goes to you. That's independence. That's Independence University. And all your supplies, including a brand new laptop and tablet, are included with tuition. Independence U, for an independent you.
Call 1-800-671-4817.